Titanfall 2 is a sci-fi first-person shooter meets mech mashup and the second coming of a prequel that struggled to establish itself between AAA competition. This time around they have opted for a campaign to accompany the multiplayer segment, a feature lacking in the first one. After marathoning the campaign, I want to weigh in on my opinions on the single-player segment of the game. Is it shoehorned in, or is it a standalone masterpiece? Well, stick around as I give my opinions on just that. I'll quickly mention I was given a PC and PS4 code to give away by the EA contact when I got the review copy, and the competition will be mentioned around the 8th minute I guess, but it will be timestamped in the comments below. Also, regarding controversy on games media getting comments a day before, in my case it isn't that I can't devote my time to play 10 hours straight in a game, it's that it takes me over a day to download a game as big as Titanfall 2. Anyway. In total, the campaign time on normal for me was around the 4.5 to 5 hour mark. Bear in mind I did play it in one sitting and I was trying to power through it all. Also, spoilers, in general I loved the time playing it. There will also be light spoilers in this review, but I do feel the story is one of the weakest parts of the game and is a little on the cliche side, revolving around rebels with a cause, the frontier militia, fighting the big bad empire, the Interstellar Corporation. Think the Browncoats versus the Alliance in Firefly, and it is quite the sci-fi trope now, and you are thrown into it without too much grounding in my opinion. Everything is just thrown at you, you're on this planet and that is that. Ironically, I would say that the Titan, a machine, in the game which talks to you throughout and you can joke with or be serious with for different responses, gains the biggest connection. The story does give a little flavour to the universe and conflict you find yourself in, but a lot of the things just seem thrown in there, like mercenary enemies that you wonder why are necessary in such an important site to the IMC, or Interstellar Corporation. A lot of the gameplay mechanics too seem to be placed into the game because, why not? There's time travel, wave clearing, and a brief stint of flying a capital ship. But this is where the game really shines, the gameplay. If you can put the Y in the back trunk and enjoy the experience, then you are in for a real treat. The game continuously throws in parkour platform segments, which if you've played the surf maps on Counter-Strike share some similarities, and use the pilot suit to run across walls, double jump, and some other tricky maneuvers. The game does like to keep making you go into ridiculously dangerous labyrinths that conveniently have got lots of panels to wall run off. And when you hear an NPC say, "Oh no, we're missing a power core," or something along those lines, you think, not again. But once you get into the labyrinth and stunt grounds, they are a joy. Maps are also designed cleverly to be dynamic, forever moving and alive, which is refreshing from the norm. On one of the levels, you have to keep moving across the total construction of buildings in a factory, avoiding being pulverized on the way and in between jumping over prefab tiles for the buildings as they slowly take form. You also have to fight NPC hordes of guards and androids in the middle, and the pace and variation are spot on and are key in making sure you don't get bored of just splitting heads or puzzle jumping alone. The map also plays with your sense of up and down when the buildings suddenly fold into a right angle, making you scramble to not fall off. That, and later you parkour over fighters and capital ships themselves. The game can get ridiculous, but it is also ridiculously fun to play. I think you just need to accept that the game is over the top though, and take it for what it is. The gunplay in the game is solid, and my favourite weapon being the one dropped by the android guards, which send enemy humans gibs flying when they are pumped full of energy bullets. I did find on normal difficulty I may as well slide into human guards and just punch them to death, but that was satisfying in its own right. And even in normal, if there were lots of enemies or harder androids, it was quite easy to die with a misstep, and this is because your health in the game is quite low, and personally I like it this way. It meant I was always on guard, and there was lots of tension that the next bullet could be my last. Titan mech sections were also a break in the pace and additional flavour that kept the game continuously minty fresh. The best bit for me was switching between the mech's chassis on the fly to match the situation, from the Scorcher leaving a pillar of flame in a tight corridor and quite literally scorching scores of enemies, to the Ronin with the samurai sword. It was especially satisfying walking over the grunts on the ground, or sending a them-sized fist as a present. Again, you have to suspend your disbelief as you don't physically change, and it doesn't really make sense that you can change into a different chassis altogether out of nowhere. And the other downside of the mech segments for me was the fact that mechs don't have much or any vertical movement. You can feel a bit stuck to a linear 2D plane as you're traversing mech segments, and they are also designed so ramps can take you up to higher levels rather than jumping there yourself. Some of the chassis did have a hover, but it just made the mech levels feel a little stale compared to the completely 3D parkour infantry segments. Boss roles are taken by the special mech pilots for the mercenaries, and it shows you an intro in an over-the-top, almost Kill Bill way where they insult you as the camera solely focuses upon them and their mech. They are quite fun and again break up the rest of the gameplay, but they are really almost like playing an enemy player in a Titan in the multiplayer. Personally, I thought the Titan segments where you fought different Titan chassis and infantry at the same time were often more fun, although later in the game the two are mixed together. The graphics of the game, which I'm sure you've already taken in, are stunning on the design level and the intricacy of the environments you come across. Going from dreamlike virtual reality spaces to moving innards of capital ships and science facilities full of holograms. Being nitpicky, ships pop in from quite close up, shadows sometimes pop up and disappear on actors, and the textures are not huge resolutions on closer inspection. All these faults would be easily overlooked by an average player though, and not somebody looking for faults like I am. They really have done a stellar job in the lighting of the environments and making them meticulous in the sheer volume of things on the screen. The musical score wasn't actually something that I paid a lot of attention to. Perhaps this is a good thing, setting the scene and seamlessly accompanying the action. Though the ending credits score reminded me a lot of Halo 3's quite dramatic music. On replayability, I could see myself replaying the game again, or at least a few of the more intense levels on a higher difficulty when I get a chance. They also do have collectibles in the game in the form of pilot helmets, but I did miss most of them to be honest. I think if you are really interested, you could even try and speed past some of the levels as fast as possible, like speedruns on platformer games of old that are so popular now. In conclusion, Titanfall 2's single-player campaign is a blast. The story is a bit cliche, but it is completely overshadowed by the map design and blood-pumping gameplay throughout. Whether it's worth the AAA title value, that's up to you, but it's definitely a one-of-a-kind single-player experience that was well worth my time. So onto the giveaway, and this is for my subscribers, so make sure if you're subscribed if you want to enter, and I have one copy of Titanfall 2 on PC and one on PS4. What I want from you is a new in-game name for a class of Titan of your imagination, the mechs that are in the game. These are like the Scorcher and the Ronin, which are currently in already. Put these in the comment section below, and make sure to also put whether you're a PC player or a PS4 player at the end. I'll pick the top 5 for each platform and put them into a number generator and then message the winner with the code. I'll reply to your comment on YouTube, so make sure to keep an eye on it, and I'll do the draw in Monday afternoon, so good luck. Anyway, what does everyone else think? Does it look like something you would pick up for the single player? Have you already been playing it? Be sure to let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a Titans thumb up, and subscribe for new gaming content. Thank you all very much for watching. Until next time, Joshino.